So I've talked previously on here a couple of times actually about the convergence, as I'm calling it. So, the fact that AI is taking the barriers down to what it takes to be able to build good products and good software. And of course, that's pushing services and software together, particularly in the B2B space. So huge opportunity. I see it as opportunity rather than threat for both sides. It'd be interesting to see who wins it. But what I thought I would start talking about is what I'm starting to look at and help, kind of growing, scaling B2B businesses think about is how do you present that to market perspective? So what does your go-to-market plan look like? And for me, it's about really understanding what the visceral pain is that you solve and sort of trying to distill that down to the kind of first principles as much as possible. And the best way I can describe this without talking specifically about, obviously boardroom privilege that I'm, kind of exposed to, is to talk about what I'm doing, because I'm free to talk about that. And obviously I'm building Scale the West for Scale. So what we've done is think about, okay, so when people come to an advisory business like ours, what do they really want? They want their business value to grow. They want a better business. How do you measure that? Well, that's really about valuation, isn't it? And obviously most of the valuation tools are pretty terrible. I've been very lucky to work with private equity and the buyers and the sellers, done lots of investments. So over the last 6 months, we've spent a lot of time building a proper engine to be able to help, whether you're SaaS or service or tech enabled or whatever it is, understand what you're worth in the current market broadly, and then also understand where your strengths and weaknesses are and what's impacted that measure. So then you can understand what you to do about it and how to prioritize the fixes and improvements, right? So that's how I'm thinking about it from an advisory perspective. But of course, your business will have a very different view. Sometimes it will be that there's a key metric and measure that you're impacting. So try and take a first principle view of what that metric is and build a tool to be able to measure it and then help them understand how to fix it and improve it and complete that circle. But it may also be that you're just trying to create a more frictionless journey, and because you're perhaps very close to the customer, you can do that better than has ever been done before, because the cost of software creation and iteration is coming down. So those are the two lenses that I'm looking through. So as Sequoia talked about, and I talked about in an ebook which I'll share, this is a seismic change, and I think what you need to be thinking about is a way to get that front and center through your proposition, right? So what does your proposition look like in a world where you can present that full, complete circle? How do you present yourself as a software business is masquerading as a service business? So that's the way you should be thinking, irrespective of which way you come. You've got to be able to tell the person what the problem is and how to fix it. So when you're looking at go-to-market and proposition, that is how you should be thinking about it. And of course, the first step on that journey is to go back to client, back to customer, understand the personas, and go out and interview and spend lots of time on those people. If I can be helpful in that, I've got a free ICP interview sort of template that I can send to you if that's helpful. Just drop me a DM or drop me a comment and I'll send that to you. But this should be a number one, number two priority around your boardroom table.